Sunlight filters through the bay windows of my parents' dining room, glinting off the crystal glasses like scattered prisms. The familiar sense of tradition settles in as I smooth the burgundy linen napkin on my lap, breathing in the aroma of Mom's pot roast. At the head of the mahogany table, Dad carves the roast with steady precision, placing each slice carefully onto the Wedgwood china reserved for Sundays. "Just a small piece for me, Dad," I say, only to watch him ignore the request and serve me a generous portion anyway. "You're too thin, Gabrielle." "Always have been," he remarks without looking up. I'm about to remind him that at 38, I can manage my own portions when the front door swings open. The quiet atmosphere breaks as my sister Vanessa walks in with her husband Mark and their 3 children. The room fills instantly with noise, backpacks hitting the floor, the kids bickering over chairs, and Mark's heavy steps. "Sorry we're late," Vanessa announces with no real sign of regret. Her eyes shine with a strange excitement that immediately unsettles me. "Traffic was awful by the outlet mall. You went shopping before Sunday dinner?" I ask, though my voice is drowned out by Mom's cheerful greeting of her grandchildren. Dad catches Vanessa's eye, exchanging a quick glance that tightens something in my chest. I know that look, one they've shared since we were children, usually before I discovered I'd been excluded from some family decision. "Well, we're all here now," Mom says, patting the table. "Charles, finish serving so we can eat while it's hot." We fall into the usual rhythm of passing food and small talk. Mom asks about my latest architectural project. Dad questions Mark about the stock market. The kids complain about their vegetables. Then suddenly, Vanessa speaks over the chatter. "We're moving into your lake house next week. Our place has foundation issues." My fork stops midway to my mouth. "What?" "It's just sitting empty, Gabrielle," Dad replies casually, though his watchful eyes linger on me. I get the blue bedroom. Vanessa's oldest son shouts, bouncing in his chair. "No, Mom said I could have that one," his sister argues. Their voices fade into the background as the reality sinks in. The kids have already chosen bedrooms. This wasn't spur of the moment. This was arranged, agreed upon, and finalized long before I arrived at this table. "Your lake house has plenty of room," Mom adds, as if that ends the discussion. "And it's not forever. 6 years. 6 years I've invested in restoring that lakeside property. $420,000 to purchase it, plus another $95,000 in essential repairs. I managed the flood damage alone 3 years ago while they were all vacationing in the Caribbean, weeks spent salvaging hardwood floors and replacing drywall. That house isn't just real estate to me. It's where I rebuilt my life after divorce, where I finally slept without triple-checking the locks, where I learned how to breathe again." "Family supports family," Vanessa says, her tone rehearsed like a practiced speech. "We'd do the same for you. It's only for 7 months until the foundation repairs are finished," Dad adds. Mark keeps his eyes on his plate, the silence revealing more than words about his involvement in this plan. I set my napkin down carefully, drawing everyone's attention without a sound. Inside, something shifts. Clarity, long overdue but steady. "Gabrielle, you're always so particular about your things," Mom says, brushing aside my unspoken objection with a dismissive wave. "This is what families do," Dad adds, his tone dipping into the patronizing register he uses when someone resists. "We help each other." Vanessa's lips curl in a self-satisfied smile, one she wears whenever she senses victory in our endless dynamic. She always takes. I always give. Our parents always allow it. Not anymore. I reach for my handbag, pull out a crisp manila folder, and set it on the table. "The contractors start Monday," I say, opening it to reveal signed permits and contracts dated 3 months ago. A full 9-month renovation. Everything stripped down to the studs. The room falls silent. Dad's knife hovers over the roast. Mom's glass stalls midair. Vanessa's smile collapses. I take a slow sip of water, surprised at my steady hand. The crystal catches the light, scattering sharp prisms across the tablecloth. Tiny rainbows no one else notices. Silence thickens as realization spreads across their faces. The folder sits between us like a live wire. Dad frozen with his knife, Mom with her glass half raised, Vanessa's expression shattered. "You can't be serious," Vanessa blurts, her voice sharp. "We've already given notice at our apartment." "Where are we supposed to go?" I take another sip, memories flashing. Her keeping my car for months, returning it damaged. The small loan of $3,000 that grew into $18,000 never repaid. The spare key she made behind my back, found when she showed up in my shower one day, You'll have to find somewhere else, I reply evenly. The contractors start Monday, Gabrielle. Dad lowers his knife, slipping into his polished negotiator's tone. Be reasonable. Your sister has 3 children, and foundation problems, Mom jumps in. You can't expect them to live in unsafe conditions. I don't, I answer. I expect them to find their own housing that doesn't involve mine. Vanessa's eyes flick toward Dad, their silent alliance obvious, the same look I saw when my college fund was used to pay for her wedding. Their coordinated pressure feels like déjà vu. But we've already started packing, Vanessa says, her tone now desperate. The moving truck is scheduled for Monday. This will break your father's heart, Mom whispers dramatically, clutching Dad's hand. My phone buzzes. A message from Miguel, my contractor. All materials delivered. Ready for Monday, 7 a.m. Another notification follows. Smart lock system active. Warmth spreads inside me. Not anger, not fear, confidence. While they schemed, I prepared. Permits filed, security installed, everything approved. What about storing our furniture? Mark speaks at last, still avoiding eye contact. Maybe in the garage? The garage is being converted into a gym, I reply. Everything's being gutted. You'll regret choosing renovations over family, Vanessa hisses, tears appearing on cue. I've seen this act before, holidays, birthdays, whenever she's denied. Dad leans closer. Gabrielle, this could affect certain decisions about the future. The inheritance card, right on time. What about the children? Mom cries, her voice rising in staged distress. They'll have nowhere to go. I fold my napkin with precision, feeling the weight of decades of demands disguised as obligation. But it no longer breaks me. Poor planning on your part doesn't create an emergency on mine, I say, meeting Dad's eyes. Recognition flickers, his own mantra now mirrored back at him. I rise, collecting my purse and the folder. I've honored my responsibilities. You should honor my boundaries. Sit down, Gabrielle. Dad's tone sharpens. We're not done talking about this. I am, I reply. Vanessa's eldest son glances up from his plate, confused by the rising tension. But I already told my friends about my new bedroom at the Lakehouse. It's not your bedroom, I answer calmly. And it's not your Lakehouse. I head toward the door, footsteps echoing across the hardwood floor. The family rushes after me, voices overlapping with protests and demands. But I don't look back. The front door shuts with a quiet click firmer than a slam. Outside, the cool autumn air fills my lungs. I walk to my car, ignoring the faint movement of the dining room curtain where Mom watches me leave. My phone lights up with Dad's number before I even leave the driveway. By the time I reach the highway, 12 missed calls stack the screen. Only on the open interstate, miles between us, do my hands start to tremble on the steering wheel. The adrenaline crash hits, shaking fingers, shallow breaths, but beneath it, my determination stays intact. I pull into a rest stop and call Miguel. Make sure the security system is fully active by tomorrow morning, I instruct when he picks up. And move the dumpsters in front of the garage doors. I'm worried about unauthorized access. Already done, he replies, a smile audible in his voice. After the flood repairs, I figured your family might try something. I grip the phone tighter. He remembers. Someone remembers how I handled the emergency repairs alone 3 years ago, while the rest of the family cruised the Caribbean. The locks are changed, Miguel continues. Cameras cover every entry point. The shaking eases. I'm not alone in this. Thank you. I'll see you Monday morning. As I hang up, a text from Vanessa flashes on my screen. Dad's furious. Fix this now. I silence my phone, setting it on the passenger seat. The sky deepens to indigo as I merge back onto the highway. I'm not driving to the Lakehouse, not yet. That place is becoming something else now, something entirely mine. I head instead to the apartment where I've learned to sleep without checking the locks 3 times. Tomorrow, they'll escalate. I'm certain of it. But for the first time, I'm ready. Monday morning arrives with the growl of an unfamiliar engine. At my kitchen window, coffee mug in hand, I watch a moving truck crawl up the gravel drive of my lakeside property. Its burgundy logo matches the shade of Vanessa's lipstick from that disastrous Sunday dinner. My phone buzzes again. Dad's 5th call since dawn. I ignore it, collecting the folder of permits I'd shown them that night. In my hands, the papers feel heavier now, like armor instead of documents. When I arrive, Ray and his crew already have the site secured. Orange cones outline the perimeter, and sawhorses block the drive, forcing the truck to idle at the roadside. I park behind Ray's pickup and step out into crisp autumn air laced with pine and the hum of chainsaws. "Miss Morgan," Ray greets, clipboard in hand, flanked by 6 hard-hatted workers. "Permits are posted. Interior demolition starts in 30 minutes, thank you." I glance around. "I see we have unexpected guests." Ray nods, expression professional. "They showed up about 10 minutes ago, claiming they had your permission to move in." The truck's door opens. Vanessa steps out, sunglasses perched on her head, her face reddening when she sees me. "What is this?" she snaps, gesturing at the construction crew. "They won't let our movers through." I meet her halfway, keeping distance so her words carry across the yard. The security guard I hired stands steady near Ray, a reassuring presence. "As I told you last Sunday, renovations begin today." I hold up the permits. "The house isn't livable during construction. You can't be serious." Vanessa's voice climbs, drawing glances from the workers. "We've already given notice at our place." "Where are we supposed to go?" I pull an envelope from my bag. "This may help. It's a 6-month storage contract already paid in full." She stares but doesn't take it. "Storage? We need a home, not a locker for our things. Your housing isn't my responsibility, Vanessa." The words leave me steadier than expected. "The foundation issues didn't happen overnight. You had time to plan." Her eyes narrow, searching my face for hesitation. Finding none, she turns toward the house. "I still have a key. We'll work around your little project." I trail behind her at a steady pace as she marches toward the front door. Vanessa pushes her key into the lock, twisting hard when it doesn't turn. "Welcome to Secure Home Systems," a robotic voice announces from the small speaker by the door. "Unauthorized entry attempt detected at main entrance. Property owner and security services notified." My phone vibrates with the alert. Vanessa spins to face me. "You changed the locks?" "Last week," I reply, nodding at the security cameras placed along the roofline. "Police have been notified about attempted trespassing." "Standard procedure." Her expression shifts, polished calm giving way to entitlement. "You can't do this. We're family." "Family respects boundaries," I answer, steady. "The security company calls right on time." I confirm the alert came from my sister, not a real intruder. When I hang up, Vanessa is already back at the moving truck, gesturing angrily at Mark in the passenger seat. Ray walks up, hard hat under his arm. "We're ready to begin, Ms. Morgan." "Let's proceed," I say, signing his clipboard. The timeline is tight. The master suite needs to be cleared by Thursday. "We'll make it happen," he replies, then hesitates. "Your sister seems determined. Should we expect trouble?" Before I respond, the truck lurches forward, swerving onto the lawn and crushing the plants I put in last spring. The movers unload quickly under Ray's direction. Vanessa steps out, triumphant. "Since you won't cooperate, we'll just keep the furniture here until you change your mind." A heavy mahogany dresser, once our grandmother's, lands on the grass. Mark trails behind the movers, silent and unhappy. I don't move. Instead, I call a number I saved yesterday. "Lakeside Auction House?" "This is Gabrielle Morgan." "Yes, proceed as planned. Donate proceeds to the foster youth program." Vanessa freezes. "What auction house?" "The one I contacted yesterday," I answer, glancing at the growing pile of furniture. "I expected this." Ray clears his throat. "Should we work around this?" "No need," I say, handing him the final papers. "Anything left outside the sheds is being removed today." The rest of the day continues as planned. Construction begins while furniture stacks up outside. Vanessa alternates between shouting and crying. Mark finally convinces her to leave, promising they'll return. 2 days later, as workers strip the master bedroom down to the studs, my phone rings. "You heartless woman," Vanessa shouts. "The auction truck took everything. Those were heirlooms." "Then they shouldn't have been left on property you don't own," I reply, stepping outside. Her voice breaks through the noise, but I feel calm. Naturally calm, not forced. "The boundaries I set are solid. I've kept records," I continue when she quiets. Photos of abandoned furniture, security footage of attempted entry, and the trespassing report. Her silence is telling. "I've instructed management about authorized visitors," I add. "You can request an appointment to see progress." With notice. "Mom and Dad are coming," she snaps, voice brittle. I glance at the foreman, who gives me a thumbs up. Perfect. They'll see what they can't undo. Workers swing sledgehammers into the last wall of what would have been Vanessa's bedroom. Sunlight pours in through open beams. For the first time in years, the house feels light, filled with air and possibility. The security system pings, vehicles arriving. I step outside, blueprints in hand, as my parents' car pulls up. The timing couldn't be sharper. "Miss Morgan, where should we stack the drywall?" Rico asks. "Along the east wall," I point. "Cover it if rain threatens." My parents step out, scanning the transformed property. Dad's face hardens. Mom raises her hand to her mouth. "What have you done?" Dad calls out, his voice cutting through the noise. I walk toward them calmly. "I told you. 9-month renovation. Everything down to the studs." Inside, they pause, stunned by the gutted living room. "This is madness," Mom whispers. "You've destroyed it." "I'm rebuilding it," I correct her. "On my terms." Dad surveys the space, calculating. "This is too much." "Stop now. We can still make arrangements for Vanessa's family." I laugh, the sound echoing off bare beams. "That won't happen." His expression darkens. "You've never valued family duty. I can cut you out of the will entirely." The tension lingers in the air. 6 months ago, his words would have shaken me, pushing me to give in. Now I stay composed. "You already did," I remind him, referring to when I refused to co-sign Mark's failed real estate deal last year. Mom gasps and Dad's face pales. Vanessa had brought it up while trying to secure money for their down payment. I continue, lifting a set of blueprints from a makeshift table. "She said you had already revised the will to protect family assets." Those were her words, not mine. Mom's eyes well with tears. The same manipulative tactic that once broke my resolve. "Gabrielle, please think of the children." "I am," I respond, turning to Rico. "How's the children's reading nook coming along?" "The built-ins are framed," he says, gesturing toward the corner. "It should match your design." I watch confusion spread across my mother's face. "It's for the foster youth program," I clarify. "The same one that received the $12,000 from the furniture auction." Dad's eyes narrow. "Vanessa said you sold family heirlooms." "Furniture left behind on property that wasn't hers," I correct. "The auction house recorded everything. It was all very public." Mom clings to Dad's arm. "Charles, she's making us look terrible." People are talking. I show them my phone, opening Vanessa's deleted posts about her so-called homeless family and the community's praise for my donation. Public shaming doesn't work when the truth is out there, I tell them, slipping my phone back into my pocket. Dad straightens, his tone shifting. "Let's talk through options. Maybe we can find common ground." I note the move from demands to dialogue. Small, but still progress. "The renovation continues as planned," I reply, motioning to a worker carefully removing old family photos from a wall scheduled for demolition. "But I'm open to helping Vanessa find housing that fits her budget." Mom's tone softens, more measured than before. "That would be appreciated." My phone buzzes. Updates from the security company confirming no further break-ins. The auction house sending a donation receipt for taxes, and my contractor sharing photos of the deck's progress. As we stand in the stripped-down frame of my home, I see Dad studying the blueprints with reluctant respect. He recognizes sound planning when he sees it. "Have you ever had to rebuild a space to reclaim it?" I ask. "Sometimes you need to tear everything down to create something real." Before they respond, my phone rings. Mark's name flashes. "Excuse me," I say, stepping aside to answer. His voice is quieter than usual. "Gabrielle, I want to apologize for my part in this." I should have spoken up. Through the window, I see my parents heading back to their car, their posture less rigid than when they arrived. "Sometimes the strongest foundations are the ones that support our boundaries," I tell him. "And those matter most." Behind me, the workers continue turning my house into a sanctuary. One nail, one beam, one boundary at a time. The formal dining room glows with amber evening light, shadows stretching across my parents' Persian rug. The table setting feels like déjà vu. The same burgundy napkins, the same crystal glasses scattering light into tiny rainbows, the same tension hovering like an oncoming storm. 3 months into my lake house renovation, I accepted this dinner invitation fully aware of what awaited me. "Your mother made her pot roast," Dad says, slicing with practiced ease. His voice carries the casual tone of someone about to open a difficult negotiation, just the way he does in business. "It smells wonderful, Mom." I smooth my napkin onto my lap, noting the extra place settings. Are we expecting someone? Mom and Dad exchange that familiar glance, the silent cue that has preceded countless disappointments. We thought a family dinner would be nice, Mom replies, serving me generously. It's been hard with everyone so scattered. The doorbell rings. Dad's shoulders ease slightly. Reinforcements. I'll get it, Mom says, patting his arm. The moment she leaves, Dad leans closer. Gabrielle, I've been speaking with the Hendersons. You remember John, my golf partner? He thinks what you're doing is a bit severe. I sip my water slowly. I wasn't aware the Hendersons had a say in my property. Community matters, Gabrielle. People notice. Yes, they do, I reply, setting the glass down. They noticed when I handled the flood damage alone 3 years ago. No one offered help then. Before Dad can answer, voices rise in the foyer. Mom returns with Pastor Williams, our longtime spiritual advisor and someone whose opinion I respect. Gabrielle. Wonderful to see you, Pastor Williams says, taking the seat beside me. Your mother tells me you've been busy with renovations. Transformative ones, I answer, recognizing the setup. My parents are skilled at arranging impartial-seeming audiences. Mom serves the pastor before sitting. We were just talking about family harmony, weren't we, Charles? Dad nods, cutting his meat with precision, and how certain decisions could still be reconsidered for the greater good. The children miss their aunt, Mom adds, softening her voice into that tone she reserves for emotional persuasion. Family should stay together, especially in difficult times. I notice my fingers tighten around my fork. The pattern is familiar. The united front, the subtle suggestion that I'm the one creating division. Speaking of family, Dad continues, the Fosters let their daughter's family stay during their renovation. Barbara says it brought them closer. The pressure builds gradually, each comparison hinting at what good families do. I reach for my bag and bring out my tablet. I'd like to show you something, I say, steady as I unlock the screen. The first photo appears, my lake house surrounded by scaffolding. I swipe to show the gutted interior, workers in hard hats filling the frame. This was day 1, I explain. Another swipe, and this was last week. Pastor Williams leans in. What a transformation. The images reveal a house remade. 4 bedrooms reworked into 3 plus a private office with a lake view. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the water. Vaulted ceilings supported by reclaimed oak beams. That's the master suite, I explain, showing a space Vanessa had once envisioned as hers. The balcony was difficult structurally, but worth it for the sunrise view. Mom's fork pauses midair. It's completely different. That was the point. I open a project schedule. This was created 5 months ago. And here's the property assessment, showing a projected 40% increase in value. Dad's expression shifts. The businessman in him recognizing sound investment strategy. This was never about denying Vanessa. I continue evenly, placing the tablet down. It was about following through with my own plans. Long before her sudden housing issue, I swipe again. This time to older photos, storm damage, water reaching the first floor, furniture floating, mold creeping up walls. Repairs cost $28,000, I explain, showing receipts and invoices. And here are the texts from that week, the ones where I asked for help and was told everyone was too busy, too caught up in vacations. Mom pales. Dad focuses on his plate. Respecting boundaries isn't cruelty, I say. It's part of being an adult. Dad slumps slightly, his authority softened. For the first time, I don't see the patriarch, but a man realizing his position has been outmaneuvered. I should have helped with those repairs, Mom says quietly. No excuses, no conditions, perhaps her first real apology. The front door opens. Vanessa enters, cheeks flushed, expecting another united front. Her stride falters at the sight. Our parents subdued, Pastor Williams reflective, my tablet filled with evidence. What's happening? She asks, confusion breaking her confidence. Mom said we were discussing the lake house, she adds. We were, I confirm, standing and gathering my things. I've shared my renovation progress. When it's finished in 6 months, you're welcome to visit, as guests, with advance notice. I hand them a formal invitation card from my purse. The housewarming is set for March 12th. I hope you'll all be there. As I walk to the door, the unspoken question lingers. Who will actually come, and under what terms? Driving away, I feel a surprising calm, watching my parents' house shrink in the rearview mirror. Ahead, twilight spreads over the lake. And I imagine my property glowing under construction lights, progress continuing, whether anyone is there to see it or not. For the first time in my adult life, I feel free of guilt and obligation, replaced instead by the quiet certainty that peace doesn't always come from giving in. Sometimes it requires holding your ground. Morning light sparkles on the lake, casting reflections across my bedroom ceiling. 6 months have passed since that difficult Sunday dinner, and the Lakehouse transformation is finally complete. I hold a warm mug of coffee, enjoying the stillness of my balcony. No voices press for my attention, no obligations weigh on my mind. Only the water against the dock and bird song from the oak tree I insisted on keeping during construction. Inside, the kitchen shines with copper accents and reclaimed wood counters. Last weekend, I hosted friends for dinner, serving wine in glasses I chose myself, not ones passed down. Laughter filled rooms once intended for Vanessa's children. The exercise room now occupies what was meant to be her master suite, a daily reminder that caring for myself is not selfish. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel, my contractor-turned-friend. Still can't believe we pulled this off. Best project ever. I smile, remembering her surprise when I first explained my vision. You want to tear down a perfectly good house? She had asked. Now, with my permission, she shows it to potential clients. The doorbell interrupts my thoughts. Through the security camera, I see my parents for the first time since the renovation. Dad shifting his weight, Mom holding a small plant. I press the intercom. Come in, I say, unlocking the door remotely. They step inside carefully, so unlike the night this all began. Dad's eyes lift to the high ceilings. Mom's gaze falls on the dining table, placed exactly where Vanessa once suggested the kids could do homework. Gabrielle. This island. Dad trails off, uncharacteristically short of words. Remarkable, Mom finishes, placing the jade plant on the side table. Truly remarkable. I serve them coffee in handmade mugs as they take in the changes. Mom pauses at the photo wall, lined with images of my travels, projects, and sunsets, not a single family portrait among them. This is who I've become, I explain simply, answering the question she doesn't voice. Dad nods, his business sense catching the quality of the work. You've built something remarkable here, he says, unknowingly echoing Mom. The recognition carries both pride and distance, a reminder that growth sometimes requires space. Later, I host a small gathering. Rachel arrives with champagne. My security company sends a basket labeled for our most respectful client. The auction house owner drops by, showing photos of the community center furnished with Vanessa's discarded heirlooms. The foster youth director cried when they received it, saying it was their first matching furniture set. Another text comes in. Vanessa, I'm sorry about the furniture. Can we talk? I think carefully before replying. Dinner next month. Bring dessert? No mention of moving in. The boundary preserves both protection and possibility. When the evening ends, Dad pauses at the door. Respecting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's maturity, he says, repeating my words back to me. His recognition feels like the final piece of renovation. At the dock, I watch the sunset shift from gold to purple, colors rippling across the lake. My reflection is steady, unshaken by the changing sky. Peace, I've learned, isn't surrender, it's honoring boundaries. And here, in a home shaped by my own vision, I've found both.